Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. So I'll be hosting the webinar today, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We do the live analysis at 10 a.m. And then live trading with JTrader, Stocks Trader, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. On Wednesday, live trading with Stocks Trader, JTrader, and then Thursday, Scott Pulcini, Futures Trader, live trading with him. We also have Tom B in the afternoons, so look for that session as well on our YouTube channel. Let's go through the risk disclosures, and we're going to jump right into the market. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump right into the S&P E-mini. And wow, some nice volatility back and forth, big swings, as you can see here. With the cash opening right here around 9:30, a move down, a move up, a move right back down when we're just breaking lows here for the cash session, it looks like. Yeah, making new lows for the cash session right now, and trading into yeah, well, looking for some follow through here. This is order flow wise rather hard to read because there's an equal move on each side here. Yeah, I imagine, like, one of the scenarios here more likely is to spike below here, not get follow through, and come right back up into the VWAP point of control, up into this area up here, at least back up into, let's see here, somewhere around here. So 28, there's liquidity at 30 right there. Secondary scenario is wow, all right, let's see it, sellers. You're already in 12 here. Let's see you trade, and they're picking it up, so let's see them trade into 10, 05, and then 3900, the future, the figure down here. So it looks like that seems to be the scenario here at the moment. It's already at 10, so we're looking for 05 and then 3900 here. All right, now let's just take a step back and take a look here. I mean, you can see it's been pretty choppy since before 6 a.m. here. High liquidity up here at the swing around 39.45, 39.50 did not trade, at least from the data that I have here, and we're also seeing some pretty big icebergs getting filled right now down in this area here, so 425. And then another 206 up in this area here. Yeah, some big icebergs getting filled. That means on the bid here, a couple different icebergs, in fact. Yeah, and nice little stop run right there as well, 255. And we're still seeing selling. Okay, so we're almost at 05, and then after that we have the figure. All right, can everyone hear me on YouTube? If you guys can give a kind of thumbs up or something there. Make sure that I'm broadcasting correctly over there. Yep, okay, thank you, Jose. All right, excellent. Yep, thanks, guys, appreciate that. Sometimes it just, I've gone on for like 5 or 10 minutes and I'm like, oh no. People are asking, are you talking? Okay, let's get a nice little bounce actually now. Okay, did we even get to 305 here? No, not quite. Yeah. All right, let's see if the sellers come back in right here around this kind of 12 level. We might get our pullback here back up to 20, even possibly 30 here. But I'm still looking for the downside pressure in here. Here, let's see if we get our sellers here at 12 and the push. Let's see them push now. Continuation here is what we're looking for in the trend, and would love to see it at least trade down to 05 here. Liquidity in front of it, as you can see. No, still not getting it. We didn't get our sellers down here. We're getting buyers up here. Now, be careful though. Watch out for this just above the swing here, and then we might get a there they come. That's what we're looking for. The rejection here of this area, and looking for our sellers to come swinging back in here. And let's see it here. That's not good. That's not what we're looking for. We got to get that. We have a kind of a triple bottom in here, and you can see how, look here, and this is very typical. We look for this here. If there's no selling here, you start to see buyers in here. They're going to come up, and likely, it's more likely they'll trade up to the swing. And in this case, they've broken it back up into, let's see if they can try to get back to 20 here and push it. Okay, this is something we always look for, and we're going to cover this more soon with even more insight in the crypto markets, actually. Okay, here it is again. Okay, so buyers, lack of buyers, sellers. We're looking for sellers down here, and then we're looking for follow through down to 13. Yeah, this one's, the buyers came back in. Okay, there it is again. Now let's see though. I want to see it trade 20, to be honest. I want to see it trade into this liquidity here and then reject. Looking for it. 20 is a good level here. We have a nice transaction here into high liquidity as well. All right, sellers already coming in. So it didn't quite get to 20, one tick away, and the sellers are coming in. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of selling. It looks kind of back and forth, to be honest. All right, well, now I want to take a break here. We will take a look at the bigger picture. We're just going over the current market action here in a couple different scenarios with this kind of opening drive that we typically see. The continuation typically in the morning. And then a little bit later we get some back and forth and then potential reversals. All right, let's see if those sellers come in now here and push it. No, not yet. All right, now they're pulling liquidity at 13. Now we're getting our sellers. Now let's look for the push through down to 10, down to 06 liquidity. And let's see if we can even get to the figure here now. Okay, how would you get involved in this? Well, this was, one of those reads in here. Weren't quite sure until we saw that sellers come in. So it's kind of like in here, to be honest. At least that's what I would have been looking at. And that's part of my trading plan. These are not trade recommendations, just reading the order flow. When we were reading on the way up and looking for the sellers at these areas, and then potentially in here look pretty good. Well, one more push. Wasn't so sure about this in here. One more push up. Wanted to see 20. It didn't. The sellers came in. Now we have our structure in here, which you can see clearly in hindsight now. But we look for it. We look for it in real time all the time. So the sellers came in. We got to retest back to where they dropped from. And let's just clear the drawings in here. Yeah, kind of a, not the easiest read because of the buying started to come in here. But there's a lack of buying up here. They came in to give it another shot, and then the sellers just pounded it. That's when we were more sure of the move, was down here. And which is a horrible entry, right? But that's when we were more sure in the order flow. And we saw them also. We had another thing. they started to pull that liquidity here. We noted that as well. Okay, so if they're going to start to pull and we start to see the sellers come in, we're looking for our primary scenario, which was the move down. Okay, and look at them come right back. Interesting. All right, well, anyway, this is a little bit of back and forth at the moment. I want to take a step back. I want to look at the bigger picture here. There's some interesting stuff to go over, and then I'll get to some of your questions in here in just a minute. All right, so let's take a look here. Our bigger picture. I want to just review. I want to review Friday. And Friday's webinar, and I took a screenshot here end of the day, so just after 4 o'clock here, as you can see. So we were in the webinar here, and I left my drawings on here as well. So we saw a pretty big sell-off, and we saw it starting to come in, and then just lots of liquidity getting filled on the bid all the way down, like really like every other tick. Every point there was a lot of liquidity getting filled and staying in the order book. We also saw a lot of icebergs starting to get filled. It was this little area in here, and I was looking for the potential bounce back up to this 3,900, which it had made this pretty big drop down below. And we started to see that end of the webinar. We started to see that a little bit, and we're looking for different scenarios that might play out. I was looking for due to all this liquidity and icebergs, looking for the a potential like kind of V bottom back up into 3,900, or maybe even VWAP here, and then not the scenario of it kind of working itself out in kind of a reversal pattern and then a reversal. Okay. And just not, this isn't necessarily a reversal, it's just a pullback in the bigger trend here, but the move back here due to all that liquidity. So what ended up happening here? Well, it went down another leg into high liquidity at 38.50. Lots of liquidity getting filled. They just continued to stay on the bid. Lots of traders getting filled on the bid on the way down. And we talked about this possible scenario for like maybe a multi-day move to the upside, at least back to 3,900. And we talked about all of these larger players getting filled on the bid. Well, once it starts to get back up into these areas in here, they're in the green. And that's exactly where we came back up to end of the day, okay, on a Friday. So, get everyone going short. And it didn't do a V bottom down here either. It took a little while. There was a kind of a bounce, then the lower high here, or sorry, the higher low here, the higher high here, and then the buyers came streaming back in, back up to the figure here at 39,000 or 3,900. All right, so that's what we were kind of looking for, maybe a little too early on, but it ended up doing it. They just went down and price went lower, and we saw just even more and more liquidity getting filled on the way down. So anyway, we go through these scenarios in here, and something a little different played out. But this is what we go through. This is the process in reading the order flow and putting together these different scenarios to understand where price might be going. Okay, so let's take a look now at today, and actually let's take a look back actually at the I want to show one more thing here on the weekly chart. Okay, we talked about this as well, looking at the weekly chart on the S&P, and a move back down into some of these levels here. I think I liked this one right around in here. That was the low from previous session. We went down below it, okay, and we came back down into this session here, and there's going to be some sort of point of control in here, I imagine, as well, just by all of the transactions in this area here back in beginning of 2021 in January. And then here's the bounce that we're talking about. Okay, so we were looking for that bounce after these several weeks to the downside, as you can see. Okay, just to bounce out of this area here or back into the weekly candle. Yeah, here we are today for the beginning of the week, and you can see we kind of moved back up 39.50, and then it's right back down to where we kind of opened around 3,900 or so. All right, so that's that. Let's take a look at the 15-minute and the hour chart here, and this is why we're struggling here on the hour. Also on the daily, you can see here, and this is the high from Friday, just kind of peaked above it. And then here we are in the hourly chart, and you can see that yeah, the peak above it, and then the sell-off here, basically a gap fill here, as you can see on the hourly. And yeah, kind of interested to see what happens now, right? If we saw all of that liquidity getting filled on the way down, are they still in it? Are we going to continue on up here? And that's what we're going to look at in the order flow here. So we're going to go with that bigger picture scenario. And that's going to be one of the scenarios here, and probably the main scenario here. So it makes sense we did not hit the figure down here. So we're looking actually for buyers here. And here they come, and looking for 32, 35, and 40 right now. This is turning into, as you can see, the order flow shift and change here. And a lot of buying coming in right now. Okay, so first test would be this 32. I know that's only a few ticks, but the next one would be up here about around 40, 39 or 40, somewhere around there. All right, so anyway, due to what we saw in the heat map and the iceberg transactions, that outlines this scenario for this move to continue on the higher time frame. All right, so we're looking to see come back up into this area here would probably be the first one. It's a good one here. It's around 42 in the S&P. So we're just looking at 40. So that's a good area to come back up and test here. All right, let me get to the questions now at this point. Okay, Dan, you want to talk about the icebergs? Sure, we'll go over that. What do I mean, Jana, by pulling liquidity? It means they were in the order book, and then when price came down toward them, or not, they pulled it out of the order book. Okay, so it's like you're saying, yeah, I want to be a buyer in the market, but then you decide differently, and you don't want to be a buyer, and you pull your bid. Okay. Good morning, Rob. All right, icebergs and identifying, getting insight from the iceberg. So we're still looking for 35 and 40 here, guys. Still looking for that. It's looking good here. It's playing out pretty nicely. Lots of buying coming in. And, you know, what was it, 42? We said there's liquidity that was up here earlier. I like the idea that if we see these buyers come in for 50, that would make highs of the day here. All right, so icebergs, let's go over some of that, and let me look at Discord here and see what you guys. All right, no questions over in Discord. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, nice. I would love to see a bounce off of 30 here. That would be pretty bullish. Let's see if we get that. Here come the buyers. That looks good so far. I could go a little lower here. Somewhere around in here. You see where they bought here and moved it higher. These little consolidation areas, we look at these areas in here. I don't see much in the book. This 35, they got filled. Here at 30, they also got filled. Yeah, this is the target here. From 38 on up to like 41, basically. Okay, let's watch this here. Looking for it. All right, buyers, let's see it now. Let's see you move this here. Are you ready? Yeah, I think they're ready. There we go. And we got to get back up here though. There's our double bottom here. Just off of this retest here. No selling there. Looking for buyers here at 33 and then the move back higher. Yeah, it's not ready yet. Not ready at all. Okay, so we noticed that here. Then looking for our buyers up here, didn't get them. We got some sellers here instead. They're driving it back down. It's kind of a weird area to start to look for in here. Like it's basically maybe here, maybe around 27 or 28. We also have our VWAP here. This is a better area. I like this 30 better here. Just by the structure in here. And what I mean by that is this is kind of in the middle. Like yeah, there's a high volume node here for sure, and it's building out, as you guys can see. And let's see if we get our buyers back up above here, 28. Skew in the order book would be good to see them pull here on the offer and then add on the bid. It'd be nice. And then right back up to 32. Here they go, looking for it. Let's see it, buyers. I think you got it. See that we're looking for buyers to pull it away here. Oh, not seeing it yet. Okay, there they go again. It's really not great here. You know, we're trying to get some insight from it, and it's just not a whole lot of volume. Okay, that's looking better. All right, let's see if you can do it, buyers here. There they go. Now they should be able to move it here. Here they go. Okay, now looking for more than that though. Okay, looking for more than 32 here. I want to see them break above it here and then hit 38 to 40. They got to get through where they dropped it here, but that's why we're looking for big green dot here and push this through on up. Okay, looking good. And now we've got to get up here to 38 to 40. Okay, if buyers are in control here, this is where they want to go. And sellers, and it's advertising here. It's like, you know, we got the sellers on the hook down here. Like, do sellers want to like take on these guys here? Well, we'll see. But I would imagine this likely scenario here is they're not going to get in the way, and they're going to let it float on up into these areas. Then they'll consider selling, right? Because we have the buyers in control. So why would you take on the freight stand in front of the train here? And we don't know. We never know. Like, the order flow is always dynamic here. And it's a good opportunity for a seller to get on some size too as well. But likely it's just going to go against them. It's the same idea here, looking at our image from Friday. Same idea that you know, look at it go against all these buyers. That every point they were getting filled by quite a bit of liquidity on the way down, all the way down, and then through 3,900, all the way down through 3850 and below. But they just got filled all the way back down. Many traders, many larger players. So we're still looking for it. Got to go through another rotation, it looks like here. Still looking for our buyers up here. And the push, let's see, they've got these sellers on the hook now, so they just need to start putting the pressure on them. Nice stop run down here. So still looking for them. It's not that big, 38. All right, let's see it. Let's see the get maybe a bounce off of here on that buy side. Just not finding the buyers now. They were starting to show up over here, and then selling came back in. Okay, looking for it. Looking for them here again. And now they've got enough back and forth in here. Just, understanding the market dynamics here. Stopping some people out on the way back down. Looking now for anyone that's selling in here. Looking for them to get stopped out on the way up into our main target of 38 to 41 here. What would I consider as a confirmation before entering the trade? Yeah, we're looking for these. We're looking at a few different things. What I look for is the market structure and specific levels, and then follow through in the order flow. So, for example, in these areas in here, well, we saw this pullback. And noted, yeah, it was a kind of high volume node in here and banging around in it, but was still looking for this move back up into 38 to 40 here, and looking for buyers in here. Now that's where is the confirmation on it? Well, once you start to see the buyers in here, once I start to see the buyers in here, yeah, I look for the buyers to come streaming in and move it back up into these levels here. So I'm looking for some sort of imbalance in the order flow in here to give insight to that. Okay, see buyers, they couldn't even make a higher high here. Now that's of course after the fact, but and now the sellers made a lower low, but I don't think this is over yet. I mean, kind of for the day here. I mean, we made a lower low here, and they're struggling just to get up to 40 right now. I'm still looking for it though. All right, so yeah, like a confirmation here for me would be big buyers come in. I'd probably take it up to like 32, 28 to 32, and I'd probably dump some off, at least one contract. Okay, it's not a trade recommendation. It's just what I'm looking for. See how we're above this, not just VWAP, but see the selling in here. So I'm looking for buyers to now follow through on up. Okay, and then I'd still be in it, but I'd be out real quick here if we see a little more selling down here at 27 or so. Okay, does that answer your question, Kim? So there it goes. So I'd be out of position there. I would move my stop to break even at this point, and I would probably put my target above this liquidity here, to be honest. and try to see if this can run, maybe even hit 39.50 at this point. Yeah, I think we're going to hit it now, or at least 39.38 to 39.40 is what we've been looking for here. And then here we go. Okay, so there we go. There's the real time kind of going through a trade, potential trade, and a consideration. This is not a trading room, it's not a recommendation, just so you know. But talking through, reading the order flow, reading the scenario here, looking for a bigger picture, and then talking about this structure in here. And we looked for it several times and it didn't pan out, and then now it just did. So and we were looking for it and we talked about it. So yep, worked out nicely. We talked about getting in somewhere around in here because of here's the flip, right? This is it here. See the selling here? And now we're above that selling. The majority of the selling is right in here. And we see the buying pressure come in, and we're back up above it here. So in here, I'm looking for them to come back up and test to here where they dropped it. And then, yeah, I would reduce my risk at that point. Now, this is a very small time frame trade, and it's for a reason here, so I can demo it. So I can go through it with you guys. And start to understand market structure. Sellers on the hook down here, looking for them to get stopped out, back up into these areas above the swings, looking for our main target, which was 39.40, 38 to 40. Okay, and still holding it, right? Still holding it, looking for potentially here 50. And I would be front running 50. I would probably have my right now probably around 39. 48 or so, something like that. And I would read it in here. I may move it. I may pull my liquidity as well and move it higher. So let's take a step back and how to manage this, potentially manage this here. So we're looking. So this was the primary scenario we went over due to not just the gap and kind of gap fill, but it was all set up from Friday on this hourly here. And just seeing all of that liquidity come in and get filled all the way down, and lots of icebergs too. So now we're looking for the push back up above, and I want to see acceptance above this swing here at 40. I don't know. Let's call it 43. Okay, and the next area to test on this hourly chart would be up here. Okay, somewhere around 73 or so. Let's take a look a little further. 73, yeah, somewhere around there. 75 also is good, somewhere around there. 39, 75. There's another structural area. See the swings here, and then the drop below the swings, and then looking for a retest back up to it today. Okay, our 15-minute chart's looking good. Looking for the follow through now and the push up into this little area up here. I mean, you guys can see, I mean, what we're talking about here is like, kind of very, very simple structures. This is not very complex at all. We're not looking at, you don't have to be like an expert in, market profile or, Elliott wave or anything like that. We're just looking at specific levels on swings, and also most traded levels and wicks, rejection in certain areas on the higher time frames, and then we're looking for acceptance and rejection in the current market activity. Pretty simple. And then we're just looking at order flow around it. Okay, so let's see here. Would I have been out? No, I wouldn't like this though, to be honest. It came shy of my 48 level here, Okay, and this is something I don't like. I would, if I don't know, maybe I'd take my profit. I would see if maybe we can see if a little bit of buying comes in here again here. Yeah, yeah, that looks good. So I'd stick with it here. I like seeing that right now. So I'd stick with it. But you can see kind of tested 48. Maybe I would have gotten filled. Let's just suppose I didn't. I would feel a little bit better about it now. But I got to see these buyers again start to come in here. Okay, this would have been another out here at 46, but I like it. Now I see the buying pressure starting to pick up again. So I'd give it a shot. And if at this point here, maybe I'd even move it back up to like 50, or maybe even above at this point. Maybe we can get more of a runner out of it now. Right? It's really up to you, like on your time frame and your risk management. Okay, still looks good on the buy side. Okay, so yep, still looking for 50 here. Now if I see a ton of selling coming in, I'd probably dump it, but that's me. And I'd try to hold for longer, you know, and look at the bigger picture once I've got my runner. I don't know, I go back and forth on it. I like looking for just the next setup, take some profit, look for the next setup. Right? Instead of like, well, we don't know, here comes a lot of selling, we're not really sure, the buying is coming back in. You know, looking for something that fits your time frame and something that fits your trading style and your risk management. So these are small time frames that I'm talking about. Higher time frame, there's no reason to get out. Okay, so a higher time frame, you're probably looking for 75. I don't see much liquidity up at 75. It's up here at 87. Okay, 4,000. Let's see here, a few questions. In YouTube. Metatron, you're welcome. Yeah, that's what we're here for, is to apply that. We have an educational course and then apply what you learned right in the live market here. So this is the putting the proving it here, reading the order flow the way that we educate about it. YouTube should not be delayed 40 seconds, Metatron. It should be more like 3 or 4 seconds, but or 2 to 3 seconds. I'm hoping for. I mean, that's what our testing has shown anyway. If we put it on, live action in YouTube, what would happen is you might just get the kind of spinning graphic when it disconnects. Yeah, I mean, you guys tell me what of a delay it is, but yeah, it was 2 to 3 seconds from what we saw. It buffers it. YouTube buffers it so you don't get that spinning icon. Metatron, I'm not sure. I mean, like the bulls, I mean, their positions were so big that, getting filled on Friday, And this is what we're talking about here. Is we're talking about kind of a swing trade by reading the order flow here, due to Friday's action, right? And we know that that's fact. I mean, that is their position. Like, you can't, I mean, are they getting out of a trade? Were they, buying back down at those levels, and then getting filled at those levels to buy for a bounce? Who knows? But we just know that there was a lot of liquidity that got filled and a lot of icebergs that got filled on the way down. Typically, when we see things like that, we can have not just a reversal like we did here. Hold on. Not just the kind of reversal, and this was end of the day. It took the rest of the day. It came down here until like 1:30 or so, and then finally it started to move back up. But this is turning into like a multi-day move. Okay, so here's the move down, here's the move that starts on the way up, and now we're looking at the continuation on a much higher time frame on the move up. So if that's the case, and that's the scenario in the order flow, then what we're looking for is the move back up into some of these areas here, as we discussed. Okay, and that's the bigger picture move here. And the thing that I love about this is the order flow. It just told us this scenario. It gave us insight to this scenario, and then we're following the order flow. Okay, and we're going with it. And it's a higher time frame trade that you can use order flow on these swing trades, on these higher time frame trades. Did you want to hold over the weekend? Oh God, that's a very scary proposition. But if you have the deep pockets for it, I mean, they're larger players are certainly holding over the weekends. Ones that are getting filled in some of these areas, they're still in it. So anyway, yeah, we're still kind of looking for that scenario then. I really like this kind of 75, 78, somewhere up in here on this hourly chart. It's a really nice little area to retest. It's kind of hard to say the zone. I mean, here we have 55. Here's our 74 up here, 73, 74. So somewhere around in there. Could be the high volume node of this cluster of volume and back and forth here, 62, something like that. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Bookmap. So 62, yeah, has liquidity there. Here's the longest, longer term liquidity though. They've been up here around 67. And they've been in there the whole session so far. And then you can see a ton of liquidity here at 9:30 came in around 87. DXFeed charts they'll look very similar to this. The one big difference between DXFeed and Rhythmic is the MBO data, market by order data, or order by order data. We have an indicator here, the stops and icebergs indicator, which is showing you, there's a lot of, look at the buy icebergs in here. So down here at 0, there's like, 1,645 already, which is pretty good. It's not bad. So anyway, this is, again, it comes back to your time frame. I mean, 50 traded and you can see it sold off, but it hasn't broken the trend. It's still in this uptrend, and we're still in this scenario here. This is where it's just you really have to kind of like wrestle with the time frame and your risk, and know when you should exit or continue to hold. And so far on the higher time frame, there's nothing telling you that you should exit so far. My chart may look different for multiple reasons. Limitless, there's all sorts of reasons on the time frame. I mean, here, if I zoom to extent here, okay, and I put in, let's say, 60 minutes here of data, and then I go to my heat map setting here, and I restore it to default. Now so you have 60 minutes of data in here. This should look very similar to your chart now. Okay, now the volume dots, like, again, you'd have to kind of go through the different settings in here. And let's also do that. We can just go to restore, and then your volume dots would look like this. It's a little too big for me. I'd bring this down. So it's going to look a little different than yours as well. So anyway, like, starting to develop a trading plan around some of these ideas is something that we're presenting the order flow and the ideas and the concepts, but you'll need to go study and see the edge that it offers for yourself. There's just no way around it. You have to do your own work. Going off of trade recommendations is just not recommended whatsoever. It's a really bad idea. You won't know what you're doing. So anyway, even if I look back on this here in retrospect here, boy, this doesn't look like a trade setup. It doesn't look very good, to be honest. But that's where we were looking for it. Right in here, starting to look for those buyers, take some off up here. I was ready to hit the button if it came back down to this 27 level here. The concept was we're bullish. We're looking for the move back up into the 38 to 40. We saw this move down below, and then lots of selling. Buyers coming in. Now buyers are above it, though. They're above the majority of that selling. So I'm looking for a squeeze, basically, and I'm looking for a test back up into here. Now we've got a slingshot, basically. We have compelled sellers in here, and now they have to be buyers. So and that's where we get the stop runs and the moves back up when people are on the wrong side, and that fuels the fire. It's not the whole move, but it fuels the move and the trend continuation. So it's just like kind of, you've got a fire, it's going, and you're now with the stops down here, now you're starting to throw some gasoline on the fire here. And up to you. I mean, like, even this is, I'm a weak hand, basically, just like all the other retail traders in here. I take some off here. And even though, like, bigger picture, we're looking for that move. But I reduce the risk. So 4 points, take some profit, and then a runner. Okay, and then we talked about this one. I would probably have been out at around 48 or so. Or try to hold it because the bigger picture, like in my time frame, I probably would have been out around 48. But your time frame, and then I would look for another setup. As simple as that. And then look for the next setup, and with a clear mind. Okay, but if you're trading a higher time frame, you're looking for another scenario to play out. Yeah, Neocore, absolutely. You can't. Yeah, I mean, this is our strategy here, is to, we have a great platform, and we're going to go through many different ways of using it, and we'll have many different traders using it different ways, and present as many ideas as we can to you. We'll have other traders come on and do webinars that'll have some unique way of looking at order flow, and using it for in a different way. And great, take some of those concepts. Do they resonate with you? Is something that you want to try? I mean, we got Jay Trader, we have Scott, we've got Tom, we've got others. We got Pro Trader webinars on our YouTube channel here. We have visiting here. Let me show you. So go through and yeah, here are the live streams in here. Tom has also offered a live stream in here as well. Okay, so you can watch that one. And here, this is Moby for extended trading hours. He did a Pro Trader webinar a few months ago. We have others in here. Tyler, he's a stocks and options trader. Brent Kachuba, my God, just a god of options. Amazing stuff. So yeah, click on the playlist up here, and you can open that up in a new tab and look at. There are many in here, right? Just many in here. Okay, Fausto, David. We have Doug, Tom in here. Yeah, we have Raggy Horner here. Enrico Stucchi, Italian trader. FT71, etc. You guys get the idea. In fact, look for an upcoming Pro Trader webinar series. It's going to be based on crypto, only crypto. Okay, that'll be in a couple weeks. Here, bonus materials here, special events. Take a look here. Okay, Brett Mayo, very interesting stock strategy. Really very simple, very straightforward. Okay, some great interviews in here. Ryan Hansen, Jackson Hunter. I mean, these are Jackson Hunter has not been trading very long, but he has some really interesting things to say about the market and some of the strategies he's looking for. All right, guys. Well, here's our higher time frame is being tested now. Is this going to it's still in play though. That higher time frame move back up into the levels that we talked about. This is kind of the same thing here. We're just looking at down here. Same idea. Okay, a breakdown below. A move back to VWAP. This is your trap volume only if we can get the buyers back up above here. Okay, and then this would be, so for example, I would be looking for that. I'd look for a move back up to 50 here. Okay, starting to pan out. Yeah, I like it. I'd give it a shot here. I'd jump in. I'd have a very tight stop on this. But I'm looking for follow through, and I'm looking for buyers to do this now. If they don't, I'll just take the cut. Okay, this is exactly the same setup basically. One difference, I don't see a lot of buying back here. I see the buying up here. But we are back up above the, the majority of this selling, which is here at 39.35. Okay, so there's a setup here that we just saw again, the same one, a little different, and we're looking for follow through here. Okay, let's see if we get our buyers now on this move, on this rotation, back up into 45 and 47, and maybe we can break highs of 50 back up into our 62, 67 area, okay, which was our higher time frame. Trying to get Tino, Drew, reach out to him. He's kind of hard to get a hold of. Want him to do a crypto webinar event here. Okay, Neocorso, yep, Tom is more your style, so you're looking at more volume profile. Yeah, I'll cover some volume profile, but I'll cover that along with many others, because it's just about, like, I think Jan is talking about it here, about it really is market structure in one way or another. If you're looking at volume or market profile, or if you're looking at even, Elliott wave, or you're looking at ranges, and you're looking at, or patterns, these are all market structure understandings here, and then applying the order flow within that will give you the more insight to what's going on. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sampan. Spot Gamma and Doug. Well, there are many. Doug's gone through it. He's done them. We'll do more. Come visit the Discord chat room as well. Doug is in there. Okay, this is the last gas for me. It's like either this works out now or I'm out. Yeah, I'd give that up here. That selling, if we can still get buyers back up above it here, this still can work out, and I would take some profit up here, my partial around 44. Okay, and see how, like, again, even this little setup right in here is a microcosm of what we just looked at in the bigger kind of setup here, right? It's down below the range, sellers trapped, move higher, other side of the range. Okay, so this here is the, a small example. High liquidity getting filled in here as well. This is great. So it makes me feel good. I'm still looking for 44, 43, 44, somewhere around in here, and take a partial profit. Okay. Let's see if we get our buyers back in here, back up into there, this 45 liquidity. It's really kind of losing some steam here, but all right, buyers, let's see it. All right, I'd take my partial there. I would. I just don't like it, the back and forth. It probably would have hit me at 45 or 44, but I'd take it. I have some in the bag, and stop at break even at that point. Okay, this isn't really behaving like I thought it would in the order flow through the scenarios that we went through. It's still in play. It's just the order flow doesn't look as great inside of it. We're looking for, you know, some commitment here. Instead, what's happening here is, and this not only does this display the kind of fractal natures of the market that we talked about, like setups within setups, etc. And you'll see it on all time frames, even, you know, the monthly chart. You'll look at the same setups here. They rhyme. It's even here it is again, same setup, right? So, and again, I may take it, look for it in here. Look, the buying looks great in here. So yeah, I would have jumped in here as well. I was just a little late on that one, and now I'm looking for 44, 45 and 46 to trade, because look at the volume come in now, right? So this is what was required here, and there it is. So I'd take some off, and then look at it come in. Now it's back up at 50. Okay, so, and now we're looking for our bigger move back up into 62 and 67. All right, let's go over this here. This is important. Okay, so it even did it one more time here. We've seen this setup now 3 or 4 times, and looking for the trap volume, buyers to come in on the other side, and then taking some off up into some of these areas here. Okay, this was a little bit of a scare in here, but then it did it again, and buyers came in over here, and it made a new high, and then it did it one more time. Sellers below it, buyers coming in here, and this looks great here. This volume looks great. You know, you can even be kind of late to the party on volume like that, because you're looking for it to play out immediately. This is commitment at this point, and we're looking for the push, and we're still looking for it. Okay, so lots of interesting versions of this kind of setup in here. Abu stocks, the FANG stocks are weak. Okay, well, S&P is doing great here. Yeah, Jan, what you're talking about exhaustion, etc. Well, what it is, and we're going to show a lot more of this here with, I mean, we can see it when stop runs, but we're going to really kind of dig deeper soon. I can't wait. Like, you really want to understand some of these markets and what's going on in some of these areas in here, and this is what is required in order for this to go higher. Okay, at least back up to the point of control of this little range in here, which would have been here. Let's just use this tool for zooming. Okay, so that area is now within my chart range, and we can look right at the profile. So the profile would have been here, and you're looking for now buyers back up above that profile too, or the high volume node in here. Just in the range here, the bottom, the top, and the most traded level within the range, and that is here. So now we're looking for buyers back up above it here. Then we're looking for the move over to the other side of the range here around 41.25, and then the potential for the move up into 45, 46, 50, and above. Okay, so here this played out really nicely. Here they are. They're above that high volume node in here. Okay, so we're looking for the move to the other side of the range, and then 45 and 46. It came back and bounced off of, retested here, bounced off of this area here, and found more buyers, looking even better. Okay, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One more test. Then this was our second, this was our third or fourth setup in here. This was our level, buying above it, and then here's a selling below it, and then buyers back up above it. So, and then again, you can just repeat that, looking for buyers somewhere around in here. Here they are at 40, and that's pretty good commitment there at 40. At this point, and look at the buying coming in, we're looking for the move back up into the high of 43, 45, and 46. Okay, now they blew right through it, and they came up into 50. So we didn't know that. Okay, but you can see that the pressure was building in here, and we have people on the wrong side of the trade in these areas here, and we get price to explore some of those areas up in here. Okay, so we're getting up into our higher time frame here. Now see how this, even this move down here, we mentioned it, this is like a shakeout here on your higher time frame, and it makes you look like a genius if you take your profit up here. You're like, oh god, thank god I didn't have to sit through this. However, this shakes out a lot of people, but there's no reason still. You need sellers down below this swing here on your higher time frame. And you need to see, not only like, you need to see follow through on it, not just a break below it and then back up into it like we've been seeing 4 or 5 times now. Okay, or at least 1, 2, 3, 4 times at least. It also did it here. You can see it, the break below 39.40 and then back up into 50 here. So it basically did it 5 times in this session. Okay, Dan, you like this? That is clear. Good explanation. Is that Dan the trivia winner? Oh, good. That really, yeah, makes me feel good. Thanks, Jan. Well, good job on the trivia. We're going to do another trivia night this Thursday. Oh, it wasn't you. Okay. Yeah, so it comes down to your time frame and understanding the order flow within it or in the structure. If you guys like this, if you don't mind, just hit the like button, give us a thumbs up there. It's very helpful. Or any comments. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I can go over icebergs, Dan, sure. So icebergs are a little the way that, okay, so stops and icebergs. First off, let's just be clear on oh good, I'm really happy to hear you guys are getting a lot out of this. That yeah, means a lot. 'Cause we put a lot of effort into our education, and we think we have a pretty good program, and we really want to bring it forward and make better traders here, that's our goal. I mean, and unravel some of the mysteries here. And what's so nice here is, like, a Bookmap is so visual. It shows you all these things and what's happening at some of these levels. Like, these are people are getting stopped out. Like, this is a stop run down here, and then, if that's a stop run and you get buyers back up above it, well, buyers can take control away from this area now. Okay, and then icebergs down here too. There's a dynamic between stops and icebergs. Here it is, right in front of us here. Okay, now on chart I have it kind of muted here, with the smaller icebergs and stops are being there's a filter, and it's kind of showing only transparency 50% of them. Yeah, here you can see that dynamic. Who's on the other side of the trade here? A larger player with an iceberg. There was 3 icebergs in here. Now they didn't get all of it. It's 206 stops, but they're in here though. Francis, there is no time frame to the chart. You can see the vertical dotted lines in here. It's 15 seconds right now. Okay, if I zoom out though, the vertical dotted line is now 15 minutes. No, I cannot show you Midhun, the 50, the Nifty. True Data now offers access to it, but that market is not open right now, so have to wait until it's open in order to get data. All right, so yeah, we're just sticking with the bigger picture here, still looking for our levels to test. Okay, and there's been a lot of back and forth in here, and now let's just get a little bit of meaning from some of this back and forth here though, and put it into perspective. Now we've seen 4 or 5 times now our ranges and our market structure, but then a breakdown, and then a fail, and then a move back up higher. So we would still look for that, and here it is potentially. Here it is again. Here's our breakdown. Okay, here's our structure up here, a smaller structure. Now we're looking for buyers up here. Okay, now we might not get it, okay, but we're open to it and we're looking for it. Maybe like at a certain point here, we need to do a deeper pullback here. Okay, but looking for buyers back up above it and looking for commitment into 57, 60, and 62. Here they go. Okay, now, like I said, this works now or it doesn't. Like this one here, I would have been, if I got in here, right in here, I would be stopped out. And I'd look for it again though. Okay, so I don't know at this point how I feel about it. Yeah, it's doing it. It's doing it. Yeah, still looking for these buyers here. 60 to 62 now. 57 transacted already. I kind of carefully manage when it gets up into these levels here. I mean, we're still looking for it, right? But yeah, I just didn't want to be on this side here if it came back down here below, and I'm going to protect some profit. Now it's a very small time frame. Okay, but I just wanted to go through an example here of like the concept, and it's not a trade recommendation, but the concept here is, well, we're identifying the order flow and we're looking for it to work immediately. And in fact, like, you know, there is no reason to get out even in here, to be honest. I just thought that we'd probably get maybe one more retest back down here, because we've seen this a bunch of times. Well, it's still playing out, and there's still, it played out once again here, and this is the move we were looking for. Then I think, you know, go back and revisit, study, what did I do that I didn't like in here, and did it break a, see how it didn't break a lower, did not make a lower low here, or even an equal low. And in fact, this is where it broke here. So that's where we need to see sellers, is here. So around 53.25. So it didn't even get to that area. All right, so you would have been in, I would have been in somewhere around 55, and then taking a scratch, or taking the small loss here, right at the bottom, where I would be, you know, maybe I should look into it. All right, well, let's give it a little more leeway here. Let's stop a little bit bigger, you know, 2.5 points, something like that. No MCX crude. Crude I think is now on the new contract, right? I haven't looked at crude for a bit. All right, way to go, Metatron. Okay, we got up to our 62 level. Great. So yeah, here's your higher time frame. I mean, it's doing exactly like what the scenario was, and it wasn't so easy. There was a lot of back and forth in here. So let's go through again though. Like the order flow here, it still looks good. It's still, you know, our scenarios are still playing out nicely. Or our scenario. Getting up into these areas though, and we said 75. Now there's liquidity now at 75, just coming in, 75 and 80. So, you know, I'm keeping an eye on it up here, but still higher time frame, still looking for it to play out up into this into these areas here. Okay, so between 68 and I don't know, 74, 75. Okay, now this here is order flow that we're looking at today, but based on order flow from Friday. I want to get that point across. That just how great that is to see, and then put that into your plan for your swing trade. Okay, now we had the weekend here, but you know, maybe you would have held it overnight if it wasn't the weekend. And we would look for this to play out like this. A lot of times you'll see these kind of moves on Monday and Tuesday, and you're just like, oh God, you know, it's dropping like a rock. You know, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. But we note, wow, they're getting filled all the way down, and we see icebergs filled all the way down as well. We're looking for the move back up. This is Banks. Welcome. Good morning. All right, so let's go back into it here. Let let's look at some of these icebergs and get some meaning from the icebergs here. So we talked about the stops. Now let's talk about the icebergs. Okay, so the way to look at any indicator, in my opinion, is never as a signal. It is more of an alert or a it's a confluence basically. So you're looking at the order flow first, understanding what's going on within the order flow, higher time frame, lower time frame, etc., just like we've been doing. Then we're looking at these confluences in here. Now this is a really powerful confluence because it's a condition in the market that, first off, it's not some sort of derivative of time and price and volume. It's showing you something, showing you where larger players are getting filled with their iceberg orders, and the stops as well, where smaller players are getting filled or getting stopped out with their stop loss orders. Okay, and we can see that dynamic as well between the two, which is pretty incredible. So the insight is amazing. So now let's put it to use here. So on the way down here, what we're looking for in this scenario here, well, here's quite a few icebergs actually getting filled at the top here. Okay, it's one iceberg, 368 initially transact in here. You see the big red or big green dot, and then you can see the others transacted in here. It's a big one. It's almost 1,500 contracts. And this kind of goes in face of what we're actually looking for. We're looking for pullback and icebergs. And we do get it down here. And we can see that dynamic here really nicely. I think we covered this one. Okay, so now what do we have down here at this level? Well, there's many things in here that give us a lot of good insight here. Okay, number one, there's high liquidity in here. It got filled. Number two, we have the most traded level for the day, the point of control, and VWAP in the same area, which is, we see that commonly. And then high liquidity down here at 30, it also fills. And then we have stops and icebergs on the other side here. Now it's not a big one, so take that as it's not like 1,500, okay, but we have something though. Now what we're looking for here is buyers to come in and then at least trade back up to here. That would be the first step. Okay, so from somewhere around in here, 31.5 on up to about 35. Okay, and then take some off. And then look for even more icebergs in here. And I don't see many. Okay, the confluence would be great to see, like lots of icebergs down here. And lots of stops too. Okay, and then looking for the buyers to come in the order flow to support or be supported by that iceberg buying. So for example, I would suggest Dan, go back to the let's see here, where is it? Hold on a minute, I'll get it. Is that it? No. Oh, we'll just go here. Okay, go back to Fridays and watch it again. So it is, hold on, upcoming live stream recordings. The live stream recording from Friday is God, I'm getting all confused. I guess it's this one here. Yeah, it must be this one. Yeah, it's this one. So watch this one here. I'll put it into the chat for you. And because I think this is a better idea about, we can even see it here. We got icebergs here. So watch this one here on icebergs. And I think that will be helpful for you to understand better. It's just a better example. Okay. And now another one too is come back and watch Scott Pulcini. Okay, watch his webinars. Now he's using it in a very interesting way. I really like it, the way that Scott is looking at icebergs and stops, not as a signal, but as an alert to now he needs to provide his attention to that area. Okay, because he's looking for something significant, and then he's like, okay, well, it's significant, but is it in line with my higher time frame analysis? If it is, then he looks to enter. Okay, so he's using it kind of in reverse. He's looking for the alert, he's looking for that confluence, and then he's looking for the order flow to confirm that confluence, essentially. And that is very interesting because that allows him to trade like 15, different futures markets. Because he's waiting for the alert. It's like he knows what he's looking for in that alert. And then it's like, okay, now the alert happened. Now what do I think of it? Now it's time to really put in his his trading plan. All right, guys, so it's been kind of a funny session in here. Lots of time in here, and we've seen this setup multiple times in here. So this is a false breakdown, and then the trend continuation, false breakdown, trend continuation, false breakdown, etc. Yeah, multiple times. Yeah, and then the one I mentioned in here that yeah, I would have taken a quick stop on this. Boy, looking in retrospect, why did I do that? Because I was afraid it's kind of lofty up here. We're getting up here. One push, maybe one more retest back down here, and I did not want to get caught up in a stop run. So that was kind of my reasoning. But looking at it right now, there was no reason to get out. Is just to protect a profit. No, you got to let the setup work, right? So anyway, yeah, I should have it would have been better to let that work and then take some off at the top of the range, or like somewhere here, maybe 58, maybe 60. When you start to see this kind of volume come in up here, yeah, it's looking good for 60, maybe even 62. And we're still looking for it. Okay, this is interesting here. This is kind of not what we're looking for. Now we're getting some volatility. Now this makes sense though, because it's the European close right now. Okay, so look at the back and forth in here. See how this is different in here? Okay, there's buyers, there's sellers, there's buyers, there's sellers. And the swings are a lot bigger. Same concepts though. Here, the sellers on the hook, back up above, looking for buyers here, looking for them to take it back up to 62 or 63. Same idea, same concept. Here's the breakdown. Here's the buyers coming in to stop them out and compel them to buy back these sellers. So here it is once again. Right. So go back and take a look at this. And see here how it's a little different though. This is kind of what I was talking about, why I would have taken a stop on the other one, because it did it once and then it came back in, and you start to see a little bit of buying here, but it came back down one more time. So this one did a double bottom, whereas the other ones just went down once and then it came back up. But it's see, the key here is understanding when, and there was another question about this. of when to get in. When does the order flow dictate or tell you something more? And it's somewhere around in here or in here someplace. Here it's actually, it's a bit higher. It's up in here. Okay, can you see that? Do you guys understand? Understand this kind of the trap here? And then when the buyers come back into the range in here, and you could even look for a scalp up into like 60 here where they dropped it from, and they got to push through it. Does that make sense? Do you guys all right, excellent. I love it. Alec, trivia time will probably be 4:30 next Thursday. I'm pulling for you, Alec, and Alan. The Asian hours are killing you. Yeah. All right. So anyway, guys, this is another variation on it here. But see the order flow change. Okay, it's here. Now, there's all sorts of ways to slice and dice this as well. This is where you can get more kind of, it's not necessarily micro, but you can, microstructure really means you're really zoomed in and you're looking at every single little move in here. That's microstructural. That's sub-second levels. This isn't sub-second levels, but it is a microcosm of what's going on in here. Okay, because here we can look at structure as well. You can slice and dice it a little bit more. You can look at your trend line and then the break above it here, and then the buyers come in here, right? Or you can look at your break down here and look for buyers as well. Now this one's a little scary here because like here we don't have a lot of selling. Sellings are here. Selling is here. Here they have the potential to move it back down to 54. They don't. The buyers come back in on the other side and start moving it. Okay, so yeah, at this point here, because of this order flow in here, I might manage this differently. It's a double bottom. There's more selling in here. I might take a partial profit up here instead of top of the range. It's up to you. Like in retrospect, that would be stupid, right? But I'm just trying to reduce my risk and look for the bigger picture to play out. Guys, this is a really nice time to end this. The bigger picture is playing out just beautifully here. We're back up into 65, 60, our 67 level just traded. We're looking for our 75 level up here basically. Okay, but yeah, I would, even on a higher time frame here, boy, I'd be ready to call it a day here. 67, let's just take a look. Yeah, on the hour chart it should go higher. I mean, it looks like it wants to go higher. Okay, on this 15-minute chart it's kind of in that range here. All right, so anyway, yeah, beautiful moves. Let me get to some of the questions here in Discord. McCormick, how do I the nodes on the way down? Yeah, those are also good areas to look for, potential profit taking or even entry. The volume nodes and the transactions of previous liquidity, those start to create levels. That's why we look at volume clusters and volume nodes. And all we're doing, like on a in essence, in the higher time frame, when you're looking at your volume profile and it's the POC or point of control, it's just a huge volume cluster. It's the biggest. So the volume clusters, they matter. Again, this is something that if there's your concept, now take it further. Go study it. Go look into it. One after another. Now we went over one up. Here we are at 70, guys, and it's still going higher. Look at this. Beautiful moves. So the the what was I going to say about the clusters? Yeah, like here 70 is, it starts to turn into a cluster. Here you can even see it in the profile. Okay, now we'd be looking for a retest would be a bounce off of this here, and I already did it right here. Right, so now take that and go back and start to look at these areas in here. This is your low volume pullback here. If Techie Girl is in here, she loves the low volume pullback. And MC Loco, I don't know if it's MC Loco or Mick Loco. Oh, you're welcome, Remiz. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these are great setups. Now, one of the things, like, to study and not to be confused here. This is important. MC Loco, like, really important here. See the follow through on this, on the buying. This is a good move. This is a low volume pullback here. Now, if you had the buying cluster up here of big green dots, and then you see a low volume pullback here, be very, very careful. This is the trap volume, and then the move back down. But you see what we're looking, you got to find a trend first for the low volume pullback. All right, that's important. Because and in fact, like, you can even see this one's not panning out. I mean, it got up to the top of the range here, and maybe you can reduce some risk up there. But see, again, now this is turning into, this is your pivot point here at 69, and then you're looking for selling below it, and we're getting it. So they're going to drive it back down and test, like, 66 liquidity here. It's a structural level too that it broke out from in here. Swing, lower low, swing back up and broke out, and the liquidity right there. I'm looking for sellers to try to test it. Yeah, so that's an important point for your low volume pullback setup. Okay, we're going to get more and more into the setups as we talk about these things. Dan, yeah. How did I call 75? Well, it's just order flow. It really is. You could do it. And we don't know if it's going to do it or not, but we just go through the scenarios, and then we look for something that's kind of in line with that scenario, and we have, a lot of insight into what price may do. Okay. Now we'll end it up here, but the bigger picture here was the insight was on Friday, and then now we're looking for the move back up into these levels here. Okay, so what did it did 72 or so. Okay, we're looking for a little bit higher here. And then look at, just understand what's going on. Even on the candlestick chart, you can understand what's going on in some of these levels here. Okay. Now here in the candlestick chart, we kind of have to extrapolate the meaning from the order flow and put it into the chart here. Whereas here, we're getting the pure information. It's like, we know the volume. We know, like, the stops, the icebergs. We know the price structure. More importantly, we know the other side of the trade, where the liquidity is. And then we align that liquidity with our levels that we're looking at. All right, so 75 is the next one here, and still looking for it. All right, guys. Well, Tom B, he should be up and running, I believe, over in his room. So the stream go right from here into Tom B for the rest of the afternoon. Guys, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up here. We're going to do, we do these every day. of the week here, and we'll do more as well. So we just we're looking for building a really nice community in here. So the feedback we get from you guys in the community is what helps us, and gives it gives me an excuse for more budget for education, basically. All right, so yeah, Dan, jump in there, start looking at these levels in here, study your levels, and take a look at some of the order flow. It's very simple stuff, and then start to go through these different scenarios in here. All right, guys. Yeah, thank you all for coming, and look for Tom B next, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, and we'll continue on. Okay, yeah, take care. Bye bye.